So beating billionaires can keep you busy. The corporate news world sure can wear you down. But it's amazing, this game you do a little homework. Word gets out and Richie's trumped by half the town. When America began her revolution, where she didn't just start here, my friends. She lit a beacon of faith all around the world to bring unbridled power to an end. So today, what's faith in this multicolored mecca? This vibrant rainbow of empowerment and rebirth. You know, faith's a terror to anyone who can't find it. Faith, love, and hope, not fear, will inherit this earth. So wake up, no more sleeping in the watchtowers. What's large in life, you know, it's often pretty small. 'Cause it's the tombstone has the permanent perspective. Not what we say, but what we do defines us all. So after 20 years of opposition, looking back now, boy, crazy as it seems, the record shows that actually big money's behavior was far worse than any of us even dreamed. So what about this corporate new world order? How come folks in charge don't care for those who grieve? And if folks like that could take control of funeral service, what kind of folks are running our oil, our guns, and our trees? Fact is, beating billionaires may be your duty. Believe it or not, the battles can be won. So if beating billionaires is your democratic duty, please help us turn the lights back on. This planet needs us to turn the beacon back on.
Hi, everybody. We had our launch last Thursday, and that was quite an experience for me. The first half of the show was a lot easier because it was pre-recorded during the daytime, but things are a little more challenging when we start to actually go into this process. So what a world, eh? What a time of change. In talking to a lot of my contacts, and I've been blessed with meeting some fairly studied people along the road, but there's so many questions now, and here we stand on a month end with so many businesses that have just been put into paralysis by the lack of cash flow because of this quarantine, while at the same time other stores, like the toilet paper stores, are doing a land office business that who could imagine. So really interested in terms of the chat, how can we proceed? I've been talking to a number of other businesses that are paying rent, and basically it occurred to me that perhaps a way of trying to tie things together through this quarantine and bearing it as fairly as possible might be for us to simply figure out what our average sales were in the first 2 months of this year before we were affected by this crisis, and then determine what our sales were in March and pay that percentage, like a ratio of what our rents are or even what our interest is. Because I think it would be a really good idea if we figured out how to have some jobs and an economy to come back to after the crisis. But we all need to remember that, 244 years ago, we the people, more particularly our neighbors to the south, declared that this world belonged to more than the people that had the funding. And as such, we've been earning back that wealth for, as I say, 244 years. And so the question is, who decides what our monetary policy is going to be during this crisis? And I'm already into an argument with some of the other board members that I work with on the hospice group. A number of people that I know are landlords, and they're afraid that if their tenants aren't paying rent, they're going to be damaged. From my point of view, though, what good is it if there's no tenants left? I mean, the landlords are going to be just as damaged as anyone, I think we've got to look at some true forgiveness of debt at this time, just to get through the quarantine. So, what are some of your ideas out there? Well, welcome to the new viewers. Yes. Thank you for joining us. So just to get back to this, if we don't manage to stay calm, then we could find ourselves in a whole new land, something that I think we've fought some pretty major wars to avoid. So being cooperative and open-minded and figuring out how to shoulder all of this and to win all of this together is myself, how is it that we can call ourselves democratic citizens and yet employ a medium of communication which can communicate to us unconsciously? It can reshape our subconscious. When I go out to groups and to schools and I engage with people and with kids on these subjects, I never meet anybody that doesn't care. So how come there's this subtext that we're all helpless and nobody cares? It's completely untrue. Everybody cares. And not only that, as we talked about at the beginning, for 244 years, we've been taking back this planet from the, well, I'm going to just say the rich. In fact, I don't think another one of my songs, which I'll play on Thursday, The Bad Rich Gotta Go. It's not on my song sheet here because my video meisters haven't been able to address it yet. But that's a song that, there are a number of enlightened, well-to-do people out there who understand how important it is. One of the lines in the song is that they understand you got to have roads to drive a Ferrari. I mean, we need each other. And again, it's vital that we are thinking outside of the box and caring for each other, because otherwise we could be a totalitarian state pretty darn quickly. And I'm telling you, there are people who are a little worried that we're starting to wake up. In fact, I want to play another song soon. It's the title cut of my next album, and it's called Time the Middle Class Kicked Ass. So actually, I still don't seem to have any chat from you guys, so why don't I play the middle class song? Okay, here we go.
Read a dictionary lately, what's a coup d'etat? Well, when people sell out the money, kicks our ass. So do we need to keep taking their crap or their time past? The old world seemed to make some sense, but now we're drowning in a sea of digital nonsense, knowing only what the money wants. Are we this dense? Electronic media has become our favorite narcotic, but starved for contact. Folks get pornographic. Getting hardwired to a culture of death can be problematic. Gotta stand and get ourselves informed. We's the most powerful citizens ever born. Banksters need to prepare themselves for the orders you're about to give. Time for us to go back to class. Gotta learn to kick some bankster ass. Banks already destroyed our beloved working class. The future's ours if we act en masse. Renew your faith and then hit the gas. Finally, we can bring our democracy home at last. We the middle class need to kick some ass. Why do we let them eat our whistleblowers? To folks with big huge guts, we just send them flowers. Why don't we give the credit unions the banksters' power? For fixing roads and bridges, we take a pass, but for buying weapons, we can afford half. What's this madness we're embraced? Are we all daft? Building crime schools for a quarter of this world's crooks. Only 5% live here, according to the books. Are we finally as stupid as we're starting to look? And then there's trillions in charity that we give away. Our conglomerates get 3/4 back the next day. Selling dams, trains, bridges, and weapons only we can pay for. So are the three biggest economies the world has ever seen yet. The military, prison, and charitable industrial complex suck the blood from we the people like vampires on a bet. Robbing we the middle class the purpose to drown us in debt. Time for us to go back to class. Gotta learn how to kick some serious bankster ass. Banks already destroyed our beloved working class. The future's ours if we act en masse. Renew your faith and then hit the gas. Finally we can bring our democracy home at last. We the middle class gotta kick some ass. Middle class gotta kick some ass. The middle class gotta kick some ass. The middle class gotta kick some ass. We the middle class gotta kick some ass. We the middle class gotta kick some ass.
Hi, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, to help everyone get back in touch and to help the middle class kick ass, we've also formed a second website. And this website is called worldwideindependentnetwork.org. And what we would like to do here is to invite everyone who has a neighborhood association anywhere in the world, and invite everyone who has a business improvement association anywhere in the world to please sign up your chapter at our website. And on this basis, what we hope to do is to have 10 neighborhoods get together. Each of them elects an editor. Each of them meets monthly. 80% of the dues are spent by that group in that neighborhood. But 20% of the funds go to the editor and goes up the next step of the ladder, where 10 groups of 10 businesses, 10 groups of 10 neighborhoods have 10 editors who meet monthly, who decide what issues from the grassroots are important enough for them to move up to the next level. And then 10 of those regions would elect one of the editors to move up to the next level, and that might end up being a municipality, and 10 municipalities might end up being a city, and 10 cities a region, and 10 regions might be a state or a province, and 10 states would be another region, unless you're in Canada, because 10 provinces would be our nation. But the idea is that we put together a stepladder where every single chapter meets monthly. We record our minutes on blockchain so they are never altered, and the funding and the 80% of the funds are spent by your local business improvement alliance, or they're spent by your local neighborhood association. What do you need? An extra dog walker, an extra lifeguard? Like figure out what the neighborhood needs and make sure everybody's cared for. And by the way, we want everybody to join. If you're making less than $30,000 a year, which is the poverty level, I believe, at least in North America, you should be able to be, there'd be one member, one vote per house, but you should be able to join for free. Anyone making any household making $30,000 to $100,000 a year, maybe it's $25 a month, and everybody making $100,000 or a year or more, maybe it's $50 a month to subsidize the poor people, and maybe you could donate more if you want to. But the whole idea is that as we go up the ladder, there'd basically be an information New World Order. So please consider visiting our website, again, worldwideindependentnetwork.org. We need to get behind this, and we need to be able to start speaking and learning the truth. Okay, but basically what we've covered is, we need to figure out how to be way more cooperative with our banks and our landlords, and they with us, so that at the end of this quarantine, there's an economy to come back to, because chaos is going to result in a far uglier picture. And I don't want to see 244 years of us progressing. When America As you heard in the Billionaire song, I mean, they turned the lights on in 1776. They didn't light those lights just there. They lit them around the world. So we've, as humanity, accomplished some pretty incredible stuff. And as I say, we're probably the most powerful citizens that have ever lived. So let's put our heads together. This decision as to how we're going to govern our economy is not up to the money. It's up to us. This is our land. In fact, I had a guitar set out here. I was going to play Woody Guthrie's great song, This Land is Our Land, because to me, it's absolutely the truth. But we've got to figure out what a reasonable solution is. And to me, that means we got to talk to each other. So that's why it's so incredibly important that a new network can be formed that's truthful. And I've got no aspirations of owning any of this. Every chapter will own themselves. And what I'd love to do is to have some of the more forward-thinking gurus that I've met, people like David Levine. I mean, that man put together 350,000 independent businesses. I mean, we were both asked to speak by Jeff Milken down there at the American Independent Business Alliance in Minneapolis a bunch of years ago. And because I have had 4 battles with the billionaires and been successful in each, they made me talk on Sunday morning, part of the crew of winners. And I said, what do you mean winners? How do you compete with people who just make up new rules as they go along to make sure that they stay ahead? And he says, no, Tom, you've beaten him 4 times. You're just going to have to suck it up. You're after David Levine. And then this David Levine gets up there and as I said last Thursday, started talking about how since they shipped 80% of the economy to the third world, or to the developing world, I mean no disrespect, but that all these levels of government need to start to think local, plan local, and above all, buy local. And I think that's absolutely true. And I've invited all 400,000 of Jeff and David's members to come and look at this thing. And if you want to buy into this network, I'll give it to you. What matters is that it exists. Okay, I'm getting a little bit hysterical. Maybe I should go to another musical interlude here.